it's interesting living in this all is one world, if that is something that you subscribe to. Personally, I do. And I think that it's really fun, and to observe both sides of the coin and that, or of the scale, and the pendulum that goes between them, because we have like hard this side, hard that side, and one right in the middle, although it's all the same thing, which is really fun. So we live in a world where there are a lot of toxic chemicals and a lot of environmental damage and things that just are not good for us in the long run. Yet there is a big selection, or a big portion of our human population that either doesn't know or doesn't see it, because they're so busy just living their lives with the knowledge that they have. So what I'm trying to get at is, it doesn't matter what's going on in this world for somebody else. Comparison is the thief of joy, right? We are bombarded with so much information from the outside world in. It can develop a lot of anxiety, stress, and fear around a lot of stuff. So what I am thinking on today and trying to understand and work through is the element of fear in situations that you have no real control over, that have no real solution. However, they are spaces that you need to learn to work with and still go through. Mainly health issues, because there are quite a few health issues in our world that there is no explanation for and no cure for, and we just need to learn how to work with it, work through it. On an energetic and spiritual side of things and scale and learning there, teaches a person that with any illness or disease, that comes from that individual and how they feel about themselves and their environment, and how their body is reacting to those feelings and to that environment and thoughts. And there's also some generational stuff, because we are just carbon copies of the one before, so it just kind of pulls those things in, and that next version gets to kind of play with and work out what they can, right? Which is a huge, to me, confirmation on people living their lives as they need to live their lives. Like, you get to pick and choose what works for you and what doesn't work for you, and what works for them might not work for you, and what works for you might not work for them. But that's not a bad thing, and we shouldn't come from a place of fear. Like, I know people out there that are so on one side of the health space that like, so say like you don't smoke, and you don't use microwaves, and you don't use plastics, like that is your clean, healthy life that you're living, and that is great. There are people in that world that still judge people that aren't like that, or put out content on social media to showcase or give information about their side of things, but they do it in a way that's like fear-based or fear-mongering, as far as I'm concerned, which doesn't need to be there. You know, your agenda, your thoughts, and your bias on that space is yours. You don't need to put that out on other people. And honestly, I'm learning that from firsthand experience, because there were things that happened to myself and my family that I was just outraged about, and trying to share the information that I learned on it, because it was new, mind-blowing information to me as a human. And I was like, how can this be? And these atrocities and da-da-da-da-da. And I went like that for a very long time, but now we're in a space of more understanding, more compassion, more acceptance of kind of like that, Lord, grant me the wisdom to change the things that I can. Well, I don't know the whole thing, but there's something in there about like the strength and the courage to do. It's basically like, what can you do in a situation that you have no control in and has no solution? What do you do, right? So that's on you. And honestly, if I can find information that would be helpful, I will share it. And if a person chooses not to take that information, bully, great. Maybe it didn't resonate with them. Maybe it won't work for them. That's okay. I personally shouldn't get butt hurt over that, right? I'm not here to save other people. I am here to learn things for myself, implement what I feel works. And if other people like that, cool. If I see other people doing things differently than me and I really like that or resonate, I will incorporate, right? Or if somebody sees what I'm doing and they have some feedback that could be constructive, I am totally open to listening. Well, I'm open to listening to whatever feedback, and I will cherry pick if I need. However, this is where we are, right? The reason I'm saying this is because I know for the last few years I have been beating myself up because I have not been able to get the 100% of something that I'm looking for. It's coming in bits and pieces, and I'm very grateful for those bits and pieces, but I'm not getting the 100% like right here, right now. That is frustrating. Learning to work with that frustration, learning to work with the fear within that frustration, because like, what if you're in a space that is a day-to-day, where it's a life and death situation day to day? How do you live in that, right? You take it one step at a time, and you really savor all the wins and all the good things in each and every day. So what I'm getting at in like the long run of this spiel is, you might not have everything you need right now to achieve what it is that you want to achieve, but you can start somewhere and stay in your lane with that. Like, the more you learn for you and add to your skills and implement those actions into your life, the more fulfilled and fruitful your life will be, and the less stressful it will be, right? And by proxy, honestly, that helps out the next person, because you're not screaming at somebody at the grocery store for cutting you off, or screaming on the highway for someone cutting you off, because you're not stressed. Like, the only reason we freak out on people is because we're stressed and we cannot emotionally regulate ourselves fast enough, or, you know what I mean? So on my part, like, autoimmune disease is something that we are learning about in our family, and for the first few years it was through fear, so there was very little learning and very little implicated. It was more so just kind of living day to day, ignoring things ish. So now we're in a space, I lost my channel because I saw some chick carrying her TV, honestly. Now we are in a space where we're more open to the learning, right? And more open to the tools that are provided within the learning. Because in the beforehand, like, the tools that were necessary were vitamins, pills, take them, and had little kids and they were not up for that. So how do you can crush it and put it in smoothies, or there's many ways to hide stuff. But again, that's just, we will do it because we are parents, but it would be nice at a certain point to just be able to give your kids something like, here, take this, they take it, and it's good. Not have to like, how am I going to trick them today into taking their medicine? You know what I mean? So now my family's in a space where they're open to the tools, and they're open to the help and the support that is there. And we will not have everything 100% to start off with. And that is an acceptance that I had to get to as well. It's taken a few years. And that it is okay that I don't have cookware that is beneficial to our health. So I'm still working with old cookware, knowing that, copper and wood is kind of the cookware that you want to go with. You want to stay away from plastics. Like, this is what I'm learning for autoimmune. These are suggestions as the best way to live with this thing. You don't have to do these things. Life might not be as sweet, like feeling well, if you don't do these things. But again, you still live, you still go on, we still go on, as my daughter would say. So back to the cookware. I don't have that stuff yet. I'm dealing with my cookware, but I have the food. And that is the most important thing, is the food. The food is 100% clean and will be eaten. So I'll cook that good food in my not good cookware and serve that. And that's going to be okay for right now. And I have to know that that is still making an impact and still making a difference, because that is still better than having nothing as far as I am concerned. And I also know that this isn't a space that is a forever space. I know that we have nothing but time in the future ahead of us. And I know that we will acquire more of the things that we need step by step, and be able to incorporate that. So I know, like, within the next 5 years, I can have better cookware to cook this food, right? And it it just takes a person to focus. Say I want to buy a frying pan, a really good frying pan. So you invest in that. You save, $50 to $100, and you go and invest in a good frying pan when you can. And the rest will just kind of follow suit. You start off with one good thing, more will follow. It's what you focus on, right? The point is to try and do it in a way where fear can still exist but not control. We will always have a fear of the unknown because it's the unknown. We don't know what that is. So learning to work with that and still being open and curious to the experience really is key. And that is my thoughts for the day.